Bailey Who, The Steel Trap, featuring Bailey Firth, Ben Firth, Amy Bloomfield, Alex Rothery, Thomas Young, and Red. Ah, you stupid machine! Bailey smashed the TARDIS control panel with his fist. His TARDIS had been really damaged and was making sparks. The glass beam in the middle was flashing from white to red, and his glowing white walls were vibrating. Bailey was frantically running around the control panel, clicking and pulling loads of buttons and levers. Bailey was panicking. He had no clue what to do, but then he remembered that if he left the TARDIS for a bit, it will regenerate itself. He ran to the monitor to see what the closest planet was. Earth it is then. London will be great. Bailey said this out loud, and then he realised he was talking to himself again. As he pulled the handbrake, the TARDIS made its moaning sound. He stepped outside, then, as he was going to close the door, he realised what his TARDIS had disguised itself to. Really? A blue police box? Bailey shouted. You could have been anything, but no, you had to be this. Bailey doesn't like blue, and it being a police box just reminds him of his dad, the Doctor. Bailey's TARDIS still has the chameleon circuit, which means it can disguise itself. Bailey reached for the door handle. As he did this, the two doors slammed closed and Bailey was knocked out the way. Then the TARDIS started making noises, and its lights on the top was flashing. It was leaving Bailey. Wait, don't go! Please! Bailey just lay there, on the floor, staring at the stars. Then Bailey realised. Wait, if I'm in London? He was really confused. He looked at his watch. It's the year 2320, the 23rd of October. Bailey looked more confused. The stars aren't in the right place. He grabbed some of the mud that he was led on and sniffed it. Then he gave it a bit of a lick and screamed. This is Lancashire! Finally, he got up and started to go for a wander. I haven't been here for a while, you know. Bailey then realised that no one was there. He was talking to himself. Again. Bailey was then met by a city. He went into the first clothes shop he found and went right in. Time for a new look. With each adventure you must look different. Basically, he could never choose what look he wanted, so he just keeps changing. Bailey picked some black joggers with a black top saying "Stay Cool" on it. He also put on a hoodie that was black and had a pizza with a face saying "Saucy." Bailey says, "Wow, the fashion sense in this era is quite something." Bailey realised he had no money, so he asked someone if he could use their bank card for a second, and they can keep the change. So, using his sonic screwdriver, he added units to the card and paid. Then, as he gave the card back and walked out, he heard a scream. I'm a millionaire! The noise was coming from a woman who had let Bailey borrow the bank card. Oops. Bailey just said that and added, hopefully it won't change the future. The city Bailey was in was beautiful, so colourful and vibrant. It was so neon, and Bailey was just thinking of how good the hover cars are to say it is only the year 2320. Then, as Bailey was walking, he heard a scream. Bailey started running to help. In a dark alleyway, Bailey just sees the legs of a person being pulled around the corner. Hey, what are you doing? As Bailey says this, he hears stomping from behind. He turns around. Cyberman! As Bailey shouts this, the Cyberman punches him, pure metal hitting his face. Bailey drops. The Cyberman was a new model, much faster and much more advanced. Then the rest. 1 second Bailey was in an alleyway. Now he's walking up in a destroyed spaceship with a giant mirror.
Here you shall see who you really are.
This was said by a quiet and calm, but also scrambled voice.
Don't worry, I can hear your two hearts beating faster and faster, the sweat dripping from your face, and the confusion on your face. Ha!
Bailey just looked in the mirror of the person he had become just to find his father. Stop it! What do you want with me? We all know you can't upgrade a Time Lord. Bailey shouted as a mysterious voice said.
Wrong question.
Bailey realised what he meant. Oh, wait, yes. Sorry, I forgot. Who are you? Laughter filled the room, then it stopped suddenly as the voice said.
Cyborg Ben.
Bailey all of a sudden looked a bit scared. How? How are you still alive? Cyborg Ben explained on how he escaped the crushing machine that was meant to be his fate the last time they met. Cyborg Ben finally span around Bailey. Bailey was sat in a spinning chair. Cyborg Ben finally revealed himself, but he must have had some damage from the teleport. After all, he is just a prototype, Bailey thought. His arm was replaced with a plasma sword once again. After all, Bailey did rip it off the last time they met. The sword was glowing red and pointing right at Bailey's neck.
Why shouldn't I just kill you?
Bailey just gave him a clever look and stated, because when you was monologuing, I got out of these chains. As Bailey said this, he jumped up and punched Cyborg Ben.
Not this time, Bailey.
Cyborg Ben teleported. As he teleported, Cybermen surrounded Bailey. All the Cybermen shouted together. Do it! Bailey started thinking what to do. He looked around the room and then realised that this spaceship wasn't in orbit. He was on Pendle Hill. Bailey realised that the room he was in had chains dangling from the roof and a giant window. He knew what he had to do. He pulled out the B-gun and shot at one of the Cybermen. The Cyberman dodged it and repeated. Bailey gave a smile, gripped hold of one of the chains. He was aiming for the thing behind the Cyberman. The thing he shot made the chain he was holding go up. Then Bailey started swinging. The Cybermen started shooting, but luckily, Bailey didn't hit Bailey. Then, Bailey let go and went straight through the window. Bailey went straight into a roll and got her down. Pendle Hill. All Bailey said was two things. What a bumpy ride. Again! Bailey started to walk. He had no clue where he was going. All he was thinking was how was Cyborg Ben still alive, and what was his plan? All of a sudden, the ground started to shake like an earthquake. Bailey turned around and saw the ship taking off. The ship just hovered over Earth. Then Bailey's B-gun started ringing. He answered. And it was Cyborg Ben.
Hello, humans. This is being broadcasted all over the world. Your planet, Earth, is now mine, and if you have anything to say about it, that you can tell these people.
Cybermen started teleporting on Earth. Millions of them. Bailey was now stood on the bottom of Pendle Hill with hundreds of different evolved Cybermen. Bailey knew he couldn't face them all, so he started to run for the city. He shot as many as he could, as he was running, of course. Right. Time to ring Ben. Bailey said this while he was out of breath. He explains to Ben everything, and Ben says,
By the way, the TARDIS came back here.
Bailey just shouted, I know, it left me. Ben just looked at the TARDIS and stated,
So, do you want me to bring it back, or...
Of course, bring it back. I'm sending you my coordinates now. Cybermen surrounded Bailey as he stayed still. He was tired from the running. See you later, boys. As Bailey said this to the Cybermen, they replied with, You will be deleted. Then the noise of Bailey's TARDIS filled the air. Bailey smirked at the Cyberman as the TARDIS dematerialises on him. The Cybermen started to shoot the TARDIS, but the shields were on. Bailey started to fly the TARDIS. He made it fly above Earth. Ben, scan the area for Cyborg Ben. Ben laughs and says,
Can you really not tell?
Bailey's TARDIS bangs into another ship. There was a giant ship over Earth. Guessing that's it. Bailey says this while looking at the giant pear-shaped ship. The metal was shining so bright Bailey was surprised it wasn't burning Earth. Bailey lands in the ship's cargo bay. Bailey starts to hear Ben mumbling about something and says, Okay, you're being muted now. Ben shouts.
Wait,
Then gets muted. Bailey seeks towards a big metal door like a ninja. He whips out his sonic screwdriver and opens the door with a quick buzz. As the door opens, he's given with an option to go left or right. He peeks his head to the left. It was clear. Then as he peeked his head to the right, he saw the chest of a Cyberman. Unauthorized personnel in the cargo bay. You will be deleted. Bailey jumps back and waits for the Cyberman to turn to face the door. As soon as Bailey sees the silver metal shine through the door, he grabs his gun and prepares to fire. Bailey could now see the full Cyberman, and as it took one step forward, Bailey shot his gun. The Cyberman turned to dust. Bailey simply stepped over the dust and went left, to then change his mind and go right. As Bailey walks down the corridor was silver with light blue lights and cables running through the vented floor. Some cables are coming through the floor disconnected like they are being fixed. On the left side, there is a big door that looks too heavy to open, and on the right, a turnoff. 2 more Cybermen are about to turn the corner. Bailey can hear their feet stomping. He has 2 options. He could go forward and fight Cybermen, or go left and lock the door with the sonic. Bailey decides to go left. As he's sonicking the door, it does not close. Bailey starts panicking. The 2 Cybermen turn the corner and see Bailey. Bailey whips out his light sword, aka what he calls Bluey. The light sword made quick work of the 2 Cybermen with one swing. The Cybermen's heads fell and make a loud bang. Bailey continues his stroll along the ship's hallway. Bailey enters the control room. The room is in a circular shape, follows the same design as the corridor. There was a high-tech computers covered in switches and levers all around the room. There was also Cybermen everywhere. In the middle of the room there was another circle of computers, and in the middle of that a tube with wires running through. There were chairs at every computer. There was also 2 chairs facing out of the window, or what would be considered a giant window shield. Though that window was a semi-bird's eye view of the whole of Lancashire. Even though Bailey was at the other side of the screen, he could see so many different cities and buildings.
It's beautiful, isn't it? However, it will look so much better if it was upgraded.
Cyborg Ben says this while turning to Bailey. You know, it's been a while since I've seen a Cyberman sit down on a chair. Nice to see some of them doing it here. Bailey smirks while saying this.
Why won't you let me evolve the human race?
Cyborg Ben stands up. You call this evolving? Look at these Cybermen, emotionless, taking orders. Where's the imagination? Bailey slowly starts making his way towards Cyborg Ben, while making slight detours. Bailey knocks on the head of the Cyberman.
Emotions make you weak. With Cybermen, the human race can live on forever. They can accomplish more things with me as their leader.
You have no imagination. Also, what happens after you? You just live forever and that's it. There's nothing else. Everything looks the same, sounds the same, and has no thoughts. Bailey clicks buttons on one of the computers, then flicks the screen.
Isn't it beautiful?
You don't know what beauty is, and it's clear. That's the problem with you and the Cyberman. No imagination, no emotion, and no brains. Bailey, now leaning on a computer while facing Cyber Ben, pulls a lever down. The room starts flashing red, and the ship starts to fall. The entire Cybermen struggle to stay upright, while Bailey runs up to Cyborg Ben. Bailey goes to punch him, but he catches it and throws him back.
Well, well, well. Congrats, you have outdone yourself. If only I had a plan B. Oh wait, I do.
Suddenly, a familiar laughter fills the room. Then suddenly, more voices start to appear.
Nice to see you again, Samwood.
Hi, Bailey, says another.
I think he's going to need filling in.
Says another. Suddenly, there is a flash. Bailey finally manages to open his eyes, and there in front of him was Cyborg Ben with Cyborg Bailey, Big G, the leader of the Time Lord Assassins, and darkness.